Hello, everybody. Hello and welcome to the webinar. If you're tuning in now, I know we have 5 minutes until we get started on this webinar, but I just wanted to welcome everyone who may be rolling in now. If that is you, what I would love for you to do is I would love for you to comment in the box that you see below this window and just say who you are and where you're from, where you're tuning in from around the world. Say hi so I know who's here joining me today. So thank you so much to everyone who is joining me. I'm your host, Sam Asser, and I'm actually so excited to be with you today and sharing my #1 shocking discovery after hosting the Defeat Stress and Overwhelm Summit and how you can also benefit too. Hey, Leanne from Alberta, Canada. I'm actually in Vancouver and it's a beautiful sunny day today. Hello, Pamela in the USA. Maryland, awesome. That was a few hours ago. Are you being prep? Oh, and Leanne, it was 40 minutes ago. Everyone's keen. I love it. But if you are just tuning in now, I would love to know where you're tuning in from. Where you're from, definitely pop in the box and say hi. So I know that I'm not just here talking to myself, but welcome everyone who is tuning in. I'm your host, Sam Asser, as I mentioned, and I'm going to be beginning this webinar shortly. But I really just wanted to welcome you and share that I am really excited to be sharing with you today my #1 shocking discovery that I discovered after hosting the Defeat Stress and Overwhelm Summit. So for those of you who are tuning in, please drop in to the box and let me know who is here with me so I can see. So we can have a chat. You can ask questions throughout the time when you are in the box. So please feel free to do that. Now, I am excited to be sharing with you today my #1 secret that I learnt from the Defeat Stress and Overwhelm Summit. So it is going to be a great time. So definitely come on in. You've got a few minutes to do whatever you need to do. So whatever that looks like for you, please don't hesitate to get comfortable, do what you need to do before we get started in the next few minutes. And for everyone rolling in who is just rolling in just now, I'm going to be starting this webinar shortly. But what I've asked is that for anyone who is just tuning in, please drop your name and where you're tuning in from in the box below so that I know who's here with me and so we can have a conversation. But I am really excited to begin. I'm excited to share with you today my #1 shocking discovery after hosting the Defeat Stress and Overwhelm Summit and how you can also benefit. So for those of you who did join me on the summit, thank you so much. And I really hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. It was such a great summit and hopefully you learned a lot from it. Hopefully you were able to reflect and look back and see what kind of stood out for you so that you can start to apply it in your own life, right? Now, for anyone that's tuning in just now, my name is Sam Asser, and I am going to be hosting this webinar where I'm going to be sharing with you my #1 shocking discovery after hosting the Defeat Stress and Overwhelm Summit and how you too can benefit. So I'm really excited to be sharing that, guys. Now, anyone who is just tuning in, I would love to know who's here with me. So don't forget to drop your name in the box below so that I can see who is here and that I'm not just talking to myself. So please don't forget to do that. And we'll begin very soon. So as everyone is rolling in, I've just sent an email out you might have got it in your inbox just now about the reminder of this summit. So I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to kind of do what they got to do to get sorted. Hopefully you're enjoying a beautiful morning or afternoon wherever you are in the world right now. And I'm going to be beginning this webinar really soon, so in a couple more minutes. So for anyone who is tuning in, please don't forget to let me know where you're tuning in from. I don't know that I can see anyone's comments at this stage, so don't forget to do that so that I can see where you're tuning in from and so that we can have a conversation because I'm so excited to be sharing this with you today, guys. Doing this summit was one of my absolute favorites, and you know, I think we learn and we like to reflect and get some good takeaways. So I am definitely excited to be sharing that with you today. So for everyone tuning in, and for those of you who just listened to me rambling, good, I hope you're enjoying it today. But there is a few people just like tuning in now. So welcome everybody. I'm going to be sharing my #1 shocking discovery after hosting the Defeat Stress and Overwhelm Summit and how you can also benefit. And I'm really excited to be doing that. But firstly, I want to know who's with me. So please let me know where you're tuning in from so we can have a conversation today. I'm super excited to see. So a couple more minutes and we're going to be getting started. Just a couple more minutes. Hello from Tennessee. Cece, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I'm excited to be chatting to you guys today. I'm excited. Firstly, I'm so excited that you joined me for the summit as well. Like, thank you so much. If you want to share any, like who your favorite speaker was while we wait, I also love to know that. I love to know what people are thinking, people like from the summit. But don't forget, if you are just tuning in right now, so that we can have this conversation, so that you can ask questions, please drop your name and where you're from in the box below. Basically, so I know that everything's working, so I know that you can hear me, so I know that everything's all good and we're ready to start. So I'm going to give just like one more minute, guys. We're going to be starting in 1 more minute, just to let the slow coaches come on in and share and get started. Hello, Lorene. Oh my gosh, Lorene, you're amazing. Now, thank you so much for sharing your insights throughout the summit. Like, it was like one of my most favorite things. And if anyone's not already on our fasting group, closed group on Facebook, you need to go and join that firstly. But you need to go and join that because Lorraine actually shared so many incredible insights that she gathered every time she watched a talk on the summit. And it was really cool to see. Like, she's been with us for a while now, so she gets that role with insights and takeaways and like, what are you going to apply? So she really shared that. So thank you so much for sharing. I'm so glad you got so much out of it, and welcome. Hello from Sweden, Barbara. Hello. Ruth from Sydney. Oh, hopefully Sydney's treating you well. I do miss that place. Hi, Monica. Okay, awesome. So everyone's rolling in. So I'm going to be starting now, guys. Thank you so much. There is a little bit of delay on the chat, so definitely still type in when you're tuning in or where you're tuning in from, and I'll come back to your questions throughout. Here we go. What has she said? You're welcome. It took a bit to figure out how to post a comment here. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. I didn't realize I had to be logged into Facebook. Cool. That's a good point. Thank you. So for anyone who can't work out how to write your name in the box, there is a section to the right that says just log in. Or down the bottom of the chat box. You just want to log in and you can choose Facebook or email or whatever that is. It should be pretty simple, but you might just want to log in now because you're probably going to have questions that will come up throughout this, and I want to be able to have a dialogue and chat to you. So please feel free to do that now, and you'll have a few minutes while I start and do the intro of this webinar. But if we're ready to go, can we just say, let's go? Someone type let's go in the box and I'm going to get started. So my number one shocking discovery after hosting the Defeat, Stress, and Overwhelm Summit and how you can benefit. Once again, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you enjoyed the last week watching the Defeat, Stress, and Overwhelm Summit. And like I said, I may be biased, I may be, but it has actually been one of my best ones yet. And the reason why is because it sparked so much curiosity in me. Like, I had so many aha moments, and one in particular is what I'm going to share with you today. But if you also had some aha moments throughout watching the summit, write aha in the box, because I really believe that it was like full of it. It was like full, like, and there's so many of the other summits I do. Yeah, we have aha moments, and yeah, there's so much education, but this one like really hit home, right? And if you're joining me today, then I'm really going to share with you one of my biggest aha moments. And I really believe it's going to give you another aha. So let's do this, right? Let's do this, because my goal today, is to show you how to evolve instead of revolve without the need to eliminate stress completely. Now, I'm guessing for a lot of you that this wasn't your first summit, right? And I'm guessing that this probably isn't your first webinar either, because what happens a lot of the time, and I totally get this, is that we fall into the trap of information, right? Like, we're in the information age right now, and sometimes we never seem to get started on ourselves. So if you can relate to that, then type me too into the box. But I want you to know that this isn't your fault, because there is so much incredible information out there, absolutely. And if I didn't believe that, then I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, right? Like, I totally believe that there's a huge important role for getting information out there. But sometimes with information comes information overload. And sometimes when we're in information overload, it can keep us stuck. But I'm here to tell you that it's okay. Because in the past, if you've ever felt concerned that you go from summit to summit without taking any action to change your current reality, then I want you to know, like, I get it. I've been there so many times, but also I want to put that fear at rest for you and know that maybe you just need like the right person to explain it, right? And I also want you to know that there's a lot of people sharing information to make money. And so it can be so overwhelming to like know who to believe or what to believe. And some don't have your best interest at heart. But I'm also here to tell you that some do. I got you. Now, if you've ever thought that hearing information or attending an event or watching a summit is that they're just here to make money, then and they don't actually care about your success, you know, you're probably right. But the difference here is like, I actually care. I care so much about your success, and I'm so passionate about seeing people evolve into the best versions of themselves. And so that's why I'm here for you. That's what I'm here to do. And I really believe that you're here to make a change. And I know that you're here to make a change. And I know that you want to feel better and you want to show up better and you want to become a better version of yourself, right? Right? And so I'm going to show you in this webinar how to make that happen. And so if you're ready for that, like, I want you to say, yeah, you're ready. I want to know who's ready for that, because I got you and I'm here. Yes, Lorraine is always ready. I love that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, and don't forget, guys, if you have questions throughout this, I really want you to just pop them in the box. And at the end of the webinar, when I'm finished, I'm going to come back to all of your questions. So please put that in. Yes, awesome, people are ready. Cece struggles with applying it. Awesome. Well, just so you know, you're in the right place right now. Okay, cool, friends. Let's do this. Because if you stay until the end, not only am I going to answer your questions, but I have created something. And this is actually so personal, but hey, I'm like all about sharing if it's going to help people. But if you stay until the end, I've actually created something that I call the START method. And this method is something that I seriously now live by to help me in any situation so that I can actually apply something to grow, right? So if you would like to see that, if you would like to have a strategy that you can put in your back pocket, so at any point you can come back to this START method and instead of like not applying anything, like actually move through, then I'm going to be sharing that with you at the end of this webinar, like an actual page from my personal journal. Who would like to see that? Who would like to see that? I'm going to wait because there might be a delay in the box for your comments. But if you would like to see my START method so that you can apply it in your own life, then let me know. Otherwise, I don't have to share it. I mean, it's just like my journal thing. I can keep it, really. Sure, why not? Okay, awesome. Lorraine's in. Cool. Okay, and I also wanted to mention as well, 30-day. 30-day what? Some people have been asking some questions on the 30-day defeat stress and overwhelm challenge. I've had like a bombarding amount of emails and stuff come through. So if you're watching this right now and you have any questions on that, I can answer that for you at the end of the webinar. So sit tight. Does that sound good to people? Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. People are keen to see that and people are ready. Perfect. Now, I have something to show you. This. Believe it or not, human beings have a less attention span than a fish. How's that? And so my invitation to you right now is to close down any different things you have open, like put your phone on airplane mode, get rid of Instagram or Facebook, and like just be here right now. Like get rid of your distractions, because we already as human beings are so distracted, right? And when we're here and we're present, then we start to take in information on a whole different level. And that's what I really want to help you achieve today. And so if you can, get rid of all distractions and let's just be here. And to be here right now, I'm going to invite you all to take a deep breath in and breathe out. And let's just be present right here, right now. Awesome. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sam Massa and I was the host of the Defeat Stress and Overwhelm Summit. In the last 3 years, I've interviewed over 100 experts worldwide, and I've impacted over 50,000 people in our online events, which is so amazing. And through that, I've developed a heart-based approach to coaching and personal practices that are really designed to inspire people to take aligned action and commit to their own growth game. So that's who I am. And I'm here to tell you that you don't have to go through years of getting it wrong like I did. Now, you might also be thinking, Sam, you're like super young. What are you on about? And I get that a lot. But I'm here also to tell you that I started this journey like so long ago. And even when I like entered the world, I was so ambitious. Like my mom would even tell you that. And so I literally have done a lot of things wrong. I've done a lot of things right. I've like been on this journey. And in fact, I'm going to show you in the next 60 minutes the most effective way so that you can embrace life right now. You can embrace the ebbs and flows, the stress and overwhelm, and still take massive action to grow, change, and live the life that you want. Who would be excited by that? Who would be excited by that? Comment in the box and let me know. Because friends, I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions throughout this webinar. And that's basically because I like engaging with people. I love people so much. And when you're doing these things, sometimes it feels like I'm just like talking to myself. And as I look out the window right now, there's like a few crows and stuff. And like I could just be chatting to them. But it's so much more fun to know that there's people here. So I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions because then I know that you're paying attention. And then that makes me want to share even more and give even more, right? And so I'm going to be sharing a lot. Awesome. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Monica. And there might also be a delay as well. So sometimes I might need to pause. Is that okay with you guys? Awesome. And so for people who are coming in a little bit late, you just want to log into the chat box through Facebook or email or whatever it is. That way you can participate in sending me any questions and chatting to me and engaging so I'm not just talking to my crows. So don't forget that you can do that as well. But otherwise, thank you so much. I'm excited. And I have a question for you all. What would you do if what would your life be like if you didn't let stress and overwhelm run it anymore? And really think about that for a second. Like think about how would your life, your relationships, and your health be different? What would they be like? Because the #1 shocking discovery after hosting the Defeat Stress and Overwhelm Summit, and I'm sure you're like, Sam, tell me, hurry up, get on with it. And I'm excited to share this with you. I'm so excited because during the summit, as you would remember, I asked a really powerful question to the speakers. And that question was, if you remember, if you were to wake up today and you are feeling stressed and overwhelmed and at that point of complete exhaustion, what would you do within 30 days to save yourself? And there were so many incredible responses, right? Like it opened up the floor to incredible conversations and vulnerability and open-heartedness. And they shared so many incredible things, like, you know, simple things that we tend to overlook in life, like journaling or meditating or breathing, eating better, prioritizing your time, slowing down. There was so many great responses, but there was one response in particular. And there was one response that, like, it just like blew the lid off my paradigm, right? And I kind of wish you could have seen my face. Like, I wish the camera at that point was on my face when, like, the answer came to me, because it kind of looked a little bit like this. Mind blown. And the response that I'm talking about is when I asked this question to Dr. Darren Wiseman. I said, Dr. D, what would you do if you woke up today feeling stressed, overwhelmed, at that point of complete exhaustion? What would you do within 30 days to save yourself? And this is what he said. I wake up in the morning, I connect to my breath, and I look for potential stress as a portal to become a better version of myself. Boo! Like, take that in for a moment. For all of us who are trying to run from stress and trying to not have it in our lives right now and like look at it like the devil, he literally wakes up and he looks for stress because he knows it's a doorway for opportunity to become a better version of himself. If that's not one way to like inspire you to live your life, then I don't know what is, right? Because I loved that he said this, because I was reflecting on this interview from Dr. D, and I really thought, like, that's so true. Like, we all want to become better versions of ourselves, right? But so often, like, we have this struggle of living in this stressful world. Like, if you asked 100 people how they are, then like guaranteed 90 of them would respond with, I'm so busy, right? Like we're so clinged on and like driven to believe that we need to be busy in this world. And then we fall into the blame game. We like to blame stuff outside of ourselves. And I reflected on this so much, and I thought, well, what's actually behind the idea of living in a stressful world? Like the blame game. What's behind that? And I really believe that sometimes it comes down to not being honest with ourselves and being scared to be vulnerable, like facing our emotions. Because in the conversation with Dr. D, he shed light on the most important barrier to what I believe to grow. And that is like when we get to that portal, when we get to that edge of the cliff, when we get to that doorway, we stop. And that's where we revolve, right? We turn 360 degrees and we end up back in that same place. And I'm sure you can probably relate to this, right? Having experienced this at some point in your life, maybe more often than not. Can you relate? Can you relate to, like, you know that there's opportunity for you to grow, but instead of growing and pushing through, you like go, oh, nope, that's too much, and you turn back and you stay in the same place, or you go backwards. Who can relate to this? Or is it just me? Everyone's just like really good at leaping, and I'm just like, I've struggled for a lot of time, for a lot of years. If you can relate, like say yes, relate in the box. Because during this interview, I had a perspective shift. I really believe that change can happen in any stressful situation when we look at it as an opportunity, being honest with ourselves, and perhaps that means owning up to the fact that, yeah, you feel scared right now, but that's okay. Because then we can allow ourselves to dance with the invisible partner, and that's what he likes to call it. Dancing with the invisible partner. And he shared so many different tools in his interview of like what you can do to like step through the door. Because I ask this question a lot. Like, I love finding out what hacks experts have to take action. And you would notice this from my interviews. I literally always ask, I'm like, okay, cool, that's great information, but now what do we do? Like, what's the action we take? Because that's like the hardest part for so many of us. And so as I was doing these interviews, I decided to put together my own blueprint. I decided to, okay, I'm going to take the tools from this speaker. I'm going to understand what they said, but I'm going to create my own dance. And I'm going to like make a plan that I'm going to execute, right? Because I want a way in which, without a doubt, I know that I'm going to be able to evolve and not revolve. Dance my own dance, because I believe that's where the magic is. Having the tools, having the support, and having the guidance, but making up your own dance. Now, let's not get carried away here, because being honest with myself and being vulnerable is sometimes like so difficult, right? Like, we all want to feel like we're achieving, like we're doing. Would you agree? And I face this so much. Like, I face this a lot. In fact, while I was like creating this blueprint, while I was literally in the middle of doing the interviews for the summit, I actually, to be honest with you, came head to head with anxiety. Now, this was ironic, right? Like, I'm doing a stress summit, and here I am like facing anxiety. But the funny thing is, my typical reaction would be to ignore, suppress, keep going and going and going. And I want to, like, this was a really interesting time for me, because to be a bit vulnerable here, I remember, like literally remember this so clearly. The night before I was doing 2 interviews, I had been like working all day, and I was like feeling really like out of my body. Like, I was like feeling like shallow breathing, like couldn't really breathe properly. I noticed like I was like couldn't sleep. I noticed I was super emotional, and I just like was having an off night. But then I got up the next day and I did these interviews, and it was with Mark David and Cassie Bjork. And they both said in the interview, sometimes our reaction to stress is to do more. And I got off these interviews and that's exactly what I was doing. I was going to do more. And I was like, going to go and work from this cafe as I like to do. And as I was walking, I noticed like, oh my gosh, like my shallow breathing, my heart's racing. I've got this stabbing pain in my chest. And like I said, my typical reaction would be like, keep going, like suppress that. But this time I didn't. This time I stopped and I asked myself, what is it that I need right now? And this is literally a photo of me on that exact day. Like, because what happened was my body was screaming, don't open your laptop. Like, go and lie on the earth in the sun and breathe deep until you come back into your body. And I know I had deadlines. I know I had to get stuff done, but I listened. And I did exactly that. And I grounded myself and I came back to myself. And from that space, then I was able to allow my emotions to come to the surface. I was able to listen. I was able to pay attention, and I was able to give myself exactly what it needed to then be able to move forward effectively and in alignment. Because friends, self-care is real, let me tell you. And something really powerful that I took away from that in that moment was that I was honest with myself. I saw the strength in the vulnerability of actually saying, oh, wow, I'm actually not okay right now. And after that, and after I honored that, I needed a hug. And so I went and I asked for a hug. And asking for help is okay too. Now, I spoke about that a lot in the summit. I don't know if a lot of you remember, but asking for help before it's too late, right? And I struggle with that, like I still do. But I really believe that asking for help is allowing love in, and being vulnerable is totally okay. Because by doing that, I gave myself the love and respect, right? And you may have heard this quote that others can only love you as deep as you love yourself. And I believe that to be true with so many different things, for love, for connection, for opportunities, for flow. It's all reflected back to you. So I quit the blame game. Now, I knew that life might have deadlines, it might have stresses, and things might be busy, but how I chose to react in that situation was totally up to me. And I chose to evolve. So evolve instead of revolve. Now, this leads me to the secrets that I'm going to share with you today in today's webinar of exactly how to do that. Like what it takes to be able to evolve instead of revolve. Who's ready to hear the secrets? Comment evolve in the box so I know you're ready to evolve with me. I know we're on the same page, right? Because I want to know who's with me. And I've got 3 secrets to share with you. And these secrets are, secret number 1 is leaning into stress is the portal for growth. And this is like transformational, friends. I'm really going to blow your mind as to why that's possible. I'm also going to share with you secret number 2, which is giving yourself permission to build new habits will move you forward. Yes, I'm accentuating for a reason. And secret number 3 is having self-compassion and strong accountability to ensure massive action. And this is like the cherry on top of the cake. And I'm so excited. So I'm going to like dive straight in because yes, some of us are ready. Awesome. So let's go, friends. Secret number 1, leaning into stress is the portal for growth. Is the portal for growth. Why should I believe that, you might be thinking? I'm thinking like, why should I believe that that's true? Because I actually questioned that as well. I thought, why should I trust him on that? Like, you also might be thinking, Sam, why should I trust you on that? But here's what I know. Anytime I've experienced growth, anytime, it's come from a feeling of discomfort and often pain. Can you relate? Like, think back to a time where you made you took massive action, like you grew or you like did something out of your comfort zone. Was it uncomfortable, firstly? And was there pain? Maybe it was a tough conversation. Think about that for a second. And I have the perfect story that I can think back to in my life of one of the most defining things as it changed the course of my life. And that story I want to share with you was like a few years back now. I was coming out of a long-term relationship, and I knew that I had to have a conversation that was about to change the course of my life. Like, not only that, but it was going to be attached to like heartbreak. It was going to be attached to emotions. It was attached to another person. All of these things, right? And so I knew I had to have a tough conversation, but I also knew there was going to be feelings of like unsafety, discomfort, heartbreak. And so what I did was I stayed in this like limbo land, as I like to call it. And this limbo land meant like I was safe. It was like, I'm going to just stay safe me, because like this is like I've already kind of like started this movement, and it's really uncomfortable. And all I can see in front of me is like a tough conversation, feeling really unsafe, feeling really uncomfortable, needing to be vulnerable, letting go, and all of that's just like too messy. So I'm just going to stay here. And I stayed in limbo land. And let me tell you, it created so much stress, like so much stress, and like physically, emotionally, mentally, all of the above. Like I remember training with my personal trainer in the gym, and my body would just like give way. Like my legs would just give way. I remember one time I was on the assault bike, and he's like, okay, Sam, give me like 10 more seconds. And I just like burst into tears, and he had to pull me off the bike and put me into a meditation and put my legs in the air. I remember experiencing like nosebleeds like every night. I would just cry at the drop of a hat. And then it got to a point where I just was so sick. Like this had gone on long enough that I was so sick. I was like bedridden. And I was back and forth to the hospital, to the doctors, and they're saying things like, you know, you need to take this, and you've got glandular fever, and blah, blah, blah. And I remember my throat was constricted, and I had like, well, not to go into too much detail, but I had like white pus all over my throat. And, you know, that's really saying something. Obviously, I'm not speaking up, right? And I just got so sick. And I knew deep down, like what I really needed to do was have that conversation that I wasn't willing to have. And so when it got to the point of like, okay, here's the options, is you take all this medication, or you go and drive to where my partner at the time was, and you have the conversation that's not going to be like fun, right? And I chose that option. I had the courage to do it, and I leant into that discomfort. I leant into the stress. And let me tell you, when I drew the line in the sand, when I went through this mess in the middle here, the next day I literally was like instantly better, like instantly. My throat cleared up. I felt so much better. It was almost like a weight went off my shoulder. Now, not to say that the whole experience was like easy after this and that there wasn't any emotions, but what I'm saying is that from that place of mess, I couldn't see what was beyond me. I couldn't see that I was stepping into expansion, into growth, into opportunity, into all of the good stuff. But I leant in anyway. And once I pushed through, then that's like definitely what was at the other side. And I'm so passionate about that, because I literally can like speak from experience with so many times where I've lent in, where I felt that uncomfort, but there's been so much beauty on the other side. So think back to a time in your life and think about how you can apply this to your life and how it would help you get a different result. Ask yourself, where is there stress right now, and how can you lean in? Can you see how that can help you too? Right? Yes, in the box. So I know. So I know I'm not just talking to myself. There might be a bit of a delay, right? And so the next part that like it links straight in, and I really hope that you can see that there's, I really hope that you can see that as well, right? Like think about your life, think about where you can apply it. And then think about what you need to change in order to get there. Because it leads to secret number 2, which is giving yourself permission to build new habits that will move you forward. Now, this seems like so simple, right? Like habits to move you forward. And I love this quote from Brian Tracy, who said, successful people are simply those with successful habits. And isn't that the truth? Because if you think about all of the mentors, all of the people that you look up to, like they just have successful habits. But there's not someone that I look up to that doesn't have like a really good morning plan, like morning routine that they stick to. And so if you think about that for a moment, like think about the habits that you're doing, and are they like serving you and enhancing your life? Because I thought about this. And at one point I thought, well, there is like, I really liked the idea of meditation. I was like, I've heard a lot about meditation, and I really feel like that would enhance my life. I knew the benefits. I'd heard how it changed people's lives before. I had experience in my own life, but I hadn't really given like a red hot crack, right? Like I wasn't very consistent with it. I wasn't really committed to it. But I really had this desire to like create a new habit. And this is what I wanted to do. I was like, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to meditate every day for 30 days for 30 minutes. And then I was like, I don't really have time for that. I was like, I don't have time to do that. Who am I kidding? I'm not committed to do that. And when I thought about it for a moment, I was like, actually, what's behind that? Like, what's behind the when I'm saying I don't have time for that? Because I've said this a lot in my life. What I was really saying was like, I don't have the self-love or the self-acceptance to do that. I'm not willing to commit to myself. But in that moment, I realized like I was sick of wanting to do something but never following through. Like I was so annoyed with myself because I used to like, especially in the health and fitness world, like I would start a challenge and then I would like end it the next day, right? Like start a diet and then like finish it before it even started. Or I would like go to a seminar and then I would leave and never apply anything. And someone in the chat box mentioned this, that they did that earlier. But I knew I had to do something different if I wanted a different result. And so I made a decision to do whatever it took. That was it. I was like, commitment to myself for 30 days, a 30-minute meditation every day for 30 days, because the pain of staying the same at that point was so worse than committing for 30 days. But let me tell you, like throughout that journey, there was so much inner conflict that arose, right? Like there was so many days where I told myself and tried to like barter with myself. Okay, well, how about like maybe we'll do like 15 minutes now and then like I'll do another 15 later, or what about if I do an hour today and then like it was like, no, like get rid of the excuses and the stuff that we're telling ourselves, because if I looked at what I was doing in my time, then a lot of the time I was spending like 45 minutes on social media, like aimlessly scrolling, right? It's like, Sam, you could have meditated by now and also had 15 minutes on social media. But I started to look at where I was prioritizing my time. Like when I was saying yes to things, when my whole body was saying like, say no, or when I was like having conversations with people that were draining my energy and not heightening my energy, or where I was like choosing to watch TV or a movie or Netflix or all of that stuff. And then I started to go, okay, well, what do I prioritize? Like what's important to me? Because as I started to shift my priorities, I then started to see like where I was spending my time and how I could utilize it better, and that how beneficial like actually committing to the meditation was for me, because I started to see subtle changes. And as I started to see these subtle changes, it started to really motivate me to keep going, right? And then when I kept going, like I felt, wow, like this is like such a sense of achievement. Like I did something that I put my mind to. Like I gave myself permission to commit to that, to something that is like literally now shifted the way in which I show up, the way in which I react to situations, how I'm feeling as a whole. And if I'm committed to my own growth, like to rewriting that story, then I know I can do it and I can do it again. It was a practice of self-love for me. It was like something that I committed to that was enhancing my life and not taking away from it. And a quote that I really loved from the interview with Dr. D was when he said, when you start to create a shift on a subconscious level, you start to perceive yourself and the world around you differently. And this is so true. And I'm not telling you to go and meditate for 30 minutes for 30 days. I mean, you can if you want, it's amazing. But what I'm saying is like when I committed to myself, no matter what the action was, when I actually changed my internal structure, then the outside world shifted around me. And sometimes we put all of the power on the things outside of ourselves. And we say, when they change, when that person does that, when this thing happens, when X, Y, Z, when I get to here, then stuff will be different. But what I realized in that moment was all it took was me making a commitment to myself, like changing the thing that happened within me. And then when that happened, then the whole thing around me changed. Like all of my external beliefs, all of the world around me started to shift and change. And I'm just like jumping up and down right now because like, isn't that exciting to know? Like, it's so exciting to know that we have this power within us, and it's just cultivating that and remembering that. And I'm so excited by this, because where are you prioritizing your time right now? And is it enhancing your life, or is it keeping you stuck? And write in the box, say enhancing or stuck, wherever you're at. Because like, how often do we reflect on this? Or how often do we just like let it run us, right? And we don't even think to like, oh wow, that's really true. And I hope this is giving you some aha moments right now of reflecting on what's going on in your life. Because as I share this, it reminds me of secret number 3, which links completely perfectly, of having self-compassion and strong accountability to ensure massive action. And this is like the number 1 key to evolving and not revolving that a lot of people seem to miss. It's one of my biggest life-changing lessons, and it might seem obvious, but it's the hardest. Because investing in yourself to take massive action. There is so much that will come up from this. Like, I don't have the money, I don't have time, I'm scared I'm going to fail. Well, do you know what? I spent years and years doing these things and being a little bit like Dory. Like, I would say I'm going to do something, but I wouldn't invest properly. I wouldn't invest in the people around me, or a coach or a mentor or whatever it looked like. And I would like grow a little bit, but then I would just like turn 360 degrees and I'd be like, I'm going to lose weight. Oh, look, there's pizza. Who can relate to this? Yes. And I spent years ending up in the same place, facing the same challenges. And like, I was just like, done. Because I can really see the power and the transformation that starts to happen when I make a conscious effort. And this is actually something that if you don't take anything away from this webinar or this summit, like, please take this away. Who you surround yourself with is key. And I'm going to say that again. Who you surround yourself with is key. Now, one of my biggest things for 2018 was I made a conscious effort to look at who was around me. Like, who am I listening to? Who am I spending my time with? Who are the humans in my life? And when I shifted to choosing friends and surrounding influences and being around people that called me forward, like called me out on my BS, that were there, like going, you know, like having the right conversations. And when I invested in mentors and coaches that would help me to grow, my whole life has shifted. I really believe that investing in help is highly recommended because you literally go so much more committed to whatever it is that you're wanting to go through, right? And it doesn't even have to be like a mentor or coach or a program. It's like commit to like, it's like finding the people that you're surrounding yourself with, because they can equally change your life. And I'll share with you like something that seems quite insignificant, like, because what was happening is I was getting by in life by sweeping stuff under the carpet, if you like. Like I would see little windows of opportunity where I could be like leaning into that discomfort or stepping out of my comfort zone. But because no one was really noticing, no one was there to call me out on it, I brushed things under the carpet. And let me tell you, it slowed down my growth massively. Because a friend helped me to realize that it's not actually about the situation that I'm in. It's about the action that's going to help me to move forward. And I hope you guys are with me. Because if I share with you a simple story, this might like hopefully be able to relate, but a simple story of this is I wanted to send a text message to somebody and I was so scared for some reason. Like I got so nervous about sending this text message because in my head I was like, well, what happens if I get rejected, and how will they perceive this message, and like blah, blah, blah. Like all of these different thoughts popped up. So normally if I was by myself and I wasn't like surrounded by the right people, I would just not have sent the text message. Would I have grown from that? Definitely not. Like, would it have been easier? Probably. But like, I remember that they said it's not about the action. Sorry, it's not about the situation you're in. It's about the action that's going to help you to move forward. And after literally like an hour of debating with my friend, I sent the text message. And believe it or not, as I sent the text message and threw my phone across the room, I was like, oh, hang on a second. The whole like story that I was telling myself, the whole fear, the whole thing that was going on before I sent it disappeared. And it was so true, because in the act of actually doing the thing that I was scared to do, I stepped into a different version of myself. It's kind of like going back to that internal, you like shifting your internal world, and the things outside of you shift. And I stepped into a different version that was willing to do something that was scared, that was scary. I was willing to lean into that discomfort. And then all of a sudden, I didn't even care if the person wrote back or if they read it or not, or if what even if they said. I just knew that I was like so much more. I was like, literally, I grew. Like, and I call it, you step into a new version of yourself, like you level up in life or you upgrade. And that's exactly what happens when you lean into the discomfort of where you're at. So I hope that makes sense, because so often we go through life thinking like, oh, that thing doesn't matter. That thing doesn't matter. Oh, no one will see that. No one will notice that. But at the end of the day, when you have the right people around you, when you're investing in yourself, when you have the accountability support, be it an accountability group or a program you're in or having a coach, you can start to utilize these people around you to accentuate your growth. And that's exactly what happened for me, because I believe growth requires massive commitment and investing in yourself. And here's the best part. You don't have to do that alone. In fact, having accountability will not only skyrocket your results, but it's going to help you lean into the discomfort. And that's where the magic happens, because magic happens on the other side of fear. Can you relate to that? Can you relate to that, my friends? Because what I learned from that is that I turned failure into feedback. I got excited for the growth and I looked for opportunities. And I ultimately decided in that moment to sign up for evolving and not revolving. How cool is that? Because I started to show up differently, like behind closed doors. And that's where the magic is. Like, imagine that you're not just doing it when someone is there to like feed, like spoon feed you. Imagine that you like just like decide that your level of commitment doesn't depend on anybody else or what anybody's thinking or says or what you're going to get from it or the validation. What happens if you were just like so committed to becoming the best version of yourself that no matter who was around, you decided to do things that allowed you to step into that? And when you have the right people around you that are calling you forward and calling you out and challenging you on your BS story, then you start to do that to yourself. And so behind closed doors, I showed up differently. I started to unpack myself. I started to look at things differently. I started to ask myself different questions. What if you did this too? What if you began to show up differently? What if you began to see things differently? How would that impact your life? Do you think it would impact it in a positive way? Like, let me know. Natasha's saying yes to something. Awesome. And this actually like links straight into when I mentioned earlier that I would love to show you a personal entry from my journal. Because from like one of these insignificant moments that I had, I developed this start journal method. And it literally like began from one of the insignificant moments. And normally I would just in my journal, I would journal about like a problem typically, right? CC, positive change for sure. Okay, cool. I would normally journal like about the problem or just like journal my feelings. But then I created this method. And if you apply this method, then you can start to unpack yourself as well. You can start to have ways in which you apply this method when you're behind closed doors and when you're not around anyone. And that method is like this. Are you ready to see it? Because I actually don't have to show it to you. Because I already know what it is. But if anyone else wants to see it, because you might also want to apply it. And if you do happen to apply this, I want to hear from you to see how it works for you. But here it is here. And this is literally my left-handed scribbly writing snapshot right there, right now of my method. And this method goes like this. The S is for signs. And the sign might be that text message, right? Like this. The sign would be my reaction to wanting to send that text message to that person. It was like fear-based. And it was like rejection. It was like, oh my gosh, what are they going to think? So that's the sign. So the sign was like freaking out. So then you look for the sign and you note that down. You're like, okay, this is how I'm feeling about this scenario. And then you look at the teaching or the learning from it. So then I would go, okay, well, the learning is that I have loads of judgment on this thing right now. Like, I'm really scared about what this person might think. So that's the learning. So then I say to myself, the action, which is the A, I go, okay, well, if in order to like step through to the other side, like, what is the thing that scares me the most? And then I go and do that thing. So the thing in that scenario was like, okay, what is the thing that scares me the most? Was sending the text message. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do that thing. And then the R, which was the realization, was I did the thing. And now what I realized? Oh, I realized, like, A, that wasn't that bad. B, all of the things that I thought I was scared of, like, have dropped away and they weren't even real. And C, I didn't even care what their response is. It was the fact that I just like did the thing, and I feel super proud of myself right now. So you have the realization. And then the T is for trust. And that can be like, okay, well, in this moment now, like, what is it that I need to do to trust myself a little bit more? Like, is it now to go, I'm trusting that, like, I stepped into that and now the universe is going to provide? Or is it like trusting that when I follow that feeling more often, then that's really honoring what my soul's saying and not what my fear is saying? Like, what do you need to trust more? And that's a simple process that I go through. So if you're someone who journals or likes to reflect on things, like, I promise you, if you start to cultivate this, like if you start to use this method more often with any challenge you face, then you'll be able to step through without the need for like a big long like 6 month of not implementing anything. It's like an instant, like 5 minute, okay, cool, what do I need to do? And it's so powerful, so powerful. So if you take this away and you do this, please let me know. Please email me or message me and let me know if you utilize it and what you think of it. Okay. Hopefully you're enjoying and you're still with me and people are still here. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And I really hope that you you can probably tell I'm so passionate right now and so excited by this information, because I really am so excited about people stepping into their best versions, right? And I want to ask you a question right now. If you followed these 3 secrets, honestly, like if you firstly recognized that stress was the portal for your own growth and you didn't shy away from it anymore, like instead you actually lent into it, if you then gave yourself permission to start new habits, knowing how to prioritize your time and giving yourself the love and the self-respect and everything that you deserve to be able to allow you to move forward. And lastly, if you actually cultivated the self-compassion, and meaning like stopping so hard on ourselves, right? If we like stop being so hard on ourselves and just invested in having the right accountability support, having the right people around us, to ensure that we took massive action, then don't you think that you could get incredible results in your life? Don't you think? Like, I'm keen to know. Because if I could help you do exactly this, like if I could be here to help you evolve instead of revolve, would you benefit from that? If you would benefit from that, comment me in the box below. Because yes, Natasha, definitely. Awesome. I'm so excited that someone is here with me. Like, I'm actually so excited I'm taking my jumper off because I'm like getting like hot and flustered and it's like freezing here. So that shows you how much I'm like passionate right now. Absolutely. Awesome. Me. Perfect. There's stuff coming through and I'm so excited to share that. So I want to ask you now, who's excited by like what I've spoken about today? Who's had some aha moments? Who's like thought about their life differently? Who's excited about this? Who's taking their jumper off with excitement like I am? And I want to ask you for permission for something. I want to ask your permission now to be able to share with you how I can actually help you to move forward. Is that okay with you guys if I share that with you right now? Yes, awesome, Cece. Thank you so much for sharing. I love it. Okay, so was that a permission slip? Do I have a permission slip to share right now? Hopefully that means yes, absolutely. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Thank you guys. Because what I have on offer for you guys today is I really believe in this program so much. Like, I believe that you're going to get the Defeat Stress and Overwhelm 30-day challenge coaching and accountability support. Now, there might be questions on this. So if there is, comment in the box because I really want to get to them. But I've created and developed this program and I'm so passionate about it. And it's literally like I thought about what is it that I would want right now? And I went and I created it. And I applied everything from what I've learned from all of the speakers, all of the learnings. And I'm going to be there with you every step of the way throughout your challenge. Now, this challenge isn't there to make you feel more scared about things. It's not about to make you more stressed or more overwhelmed. It's about the complete opposite. And so what this looks like is 4 complete trainings where you would show up and we go through the training. But then every day you meet the like-minded people. You're in a closed group. And we're there, we're together, we're a tribe, and you find the surrounding influences that are going to call you forward and support you and love you anyway. And I'm going to show up every day and I'm going to help keep you accountable. And I'm going to answer your questions. And when you want to run, I'm going to help you to not run. But also, I want to make this process as easy as I can for you to be able to step into your power, step into your growth, and not feel more stressed and overwhelmed. That's not the point. And so this 30-day challenge coaching accountability support is going to be the exact thing that you need right now to be able to step through that portal, if you like. But I'm also going to give you the Defeat Stress and Overwhelm Summit Premium Pass with lifetime access to all of the expert interviews. Because as you know, the summit was so valuable, so packed full of goodness, right? And so how powerful would it be to be able to go back and rewatch and relearn all the time like I do? You would have noticed that the summit has now finished. And I literally woke up to so many emails this morning saying, can't you just extend it one more day? Or can't you give us another, or I couldn't do this, or I had 15 minutes, or whatever it was. And I get it. Life, like I said earlier, is stressful, it's busy. But if I give you access to all of them, then you can watch them in your own time. And I'm also going to give you the Defeat Stress and Overwhelm Summit Expert Secrets Blueprint. This is the powerful thing about the interviews is that we went through them and handpicked and like with a, what do they call it? The comb, a fine pick comb or something. And we took away their points so we pulled out their blueprint of exactly what they would do. And we put it together so it's easy for you to read. It's easy for you to reach to when you're having one of those days and you don't know what to do, but you remember what Mark David said and you pull out his blueprint and you do exactly the thing that he says to do. And I believe it's something along the lines of lie on the couch and feel okay with it and then get up and go into the mirror. But I'm also going to give you the Defeat Stress and Overwhelm Summit MP3 so that you can listen in the car on the way to work. You can listen to when you're walking, all of these things, that's going to be included as well. And I'm also going to give you access to a brand new members-only Facebook group where you're going to find your tribe and the surrounding influences and the like-minded people that are there to support you and your growth. All of this is valued at $2,155. Now, like, I believe it's worth so much more than that, but I'm not even going to charge you that today. But I want you to think, like, would you actually pay that? Like, if you got all of that stuff, do you think it would actually be worth that? And I'm really curious to know because I'm not even going to charge you that. In fact, I'm going to make it a no-brainer for you. And I'm going to add in the 28-day fasting kickstart program so that you can use it to level up your health and wellness. It's valued at $97 and it's like a 28-day program that's going to give you tastings of what fasting is all about, meditation is all about, how to integrate it into your life. So many people have had incredible experiences with exactly this. And so you're going to get the Defeat Stress and Overwhelm 30-day challenge, coaching and accountability with me. You're going to get the Summit Premium Pass so you can have the lifetime access to all of the interviews. You're going to get the Expert Secrets Blueprint. You're going to get all of the MP3s ready for download. You're also going to have access to the members only Facebook page. And you're also going to get bonus number 1, the 28-day fasting kickstart program. It's valued now at $2,252. But hey, because I'm so nice, because I'm actually so passionate about this next thing and molding it all together, I'm also going to give you the behind the scenes recording of our Holistic Fasting Accelerator program. Now, this program was so incredible, and you don't even have to be a pro faster, but fasting and this program together could be an absolute game changer for you, and you don't even have to take my word for it. This is what Diana said about the program. She said, taking Sam's class has kickstarted me on my way to better health, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. I've never been able to do a water fast, but I did it for 5 days. That was huge for me. Now I have the confidence to do it whenever I want, and the payoff was awesome. I've gained incredible insights about myself. I lost 22 pounds, and now I have the confidence to do a water fast whenever I want, and the blessings are still rolling on. Sam is kind, and she has a loving, understanding, patient touch. That's what I want to look for in a coach. I get that she cares. When I participate in her program again in a heartbeat, you're awesome. Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Diana. And she was absolutely incredible. It was so incredible to watch her journey, as it was with everyone else who participated in this program, because it wasn't just about fasting and health. It literally accelerated their growth game. It helped their mental clarity, their mental focus, all of those things. And so I'm going to give that to you today too, because I'm so passionate about allowing you to have all of the tools that you need to be able to step into this new version of yourself. So you're going to get the Defeat Stress and Overwhelm 30-day challenge, coaching and accountability. You're also going to get lifetime access to all of the interviews. You're also going to get the Expert Secrets blueprints, the MP3s, so you can listen in the car. You're also going to have access to the brand new members Facebook page. Also, bonus number 1, the 28-day fasting kickstart program, and also bonus number 2, my holistic fasting accelerator program. All of it now is valued at $2,649. And you know what? If all this did was give you the exact tools that you need to take control of any stressful situation now or in the future, would it be worth it? If all this did was offer you the support and the accountability so that you can finally take action when you would normally stop and revolve, would it be worth it? If all this did was give you the ability to just show up better in your relationships, as a parent, in your work, health, life, would it be worth it? Because you're going to get the Defeat Stress and Overwhelm 30-day challenge that literally could transform your whole life. You're going to get the Defeat Stress and Overwhelm Premium Pass to have access to all of the incredible speakers that you just heard. You're going to get all of their blueprints. You're going to get all of the MP3s. You're going to have access to the new members only Facebook group. You're going to have my bonus 1 28-day fasting kickstart program. That's going to level you up massively in itself. You're also going to get bonus number 2, the holistic fasting accelerator program. But because I care mostly about you moving forward, and if you invest in this today, I'm not going to charge you $2,649. I'm literally not even going to charge you half of that. I'm literally, if you get started right now, it's $77. That's it. And plus, let me take all of the risk out of it for you, and I'll give you your money back if you're not satisfied. Like, no questions asked, no hassles, no problems. If you don't like any of that, I will give you your money back. You have literally nothing to lose and everything to gain. So the real question is, are you ready to evolve? And if you were only to take one thing away from this whole program that could dramatically change the way in which you show up in any stressful situation for you or your family, then wouldn't you say that the investment of $77 is worth it? To get all of this, to get the 30-day challenge, coaching and accountability support, to get all of the interviews for a lifetime, to get the Defeat Stress and Overwhelm Expert Secrets blueprint, to get the MP3s that are ready for download, to get access to the new members Facebook group, to get the bonus number 1 28-day fasting kickstart, and the bonus number 2 holistic fasting accelerator, all for $77. So the question is, what questions do you have when you're not going to the page and getting started right now? Because I'm so excited to be starting this journey with you. But here's the thing, habits are so hard to change, I know. And I easily could leave this webinar right now and go and enjoy this sunny day, because I've already committed to evolving. I'm already creating change in my life. But this is totally not about me. This is about you. And in fact, if you're about to leave this webinar right now, you might think that you've learned a lot of cool stuff. But sometimes we wake up in the morning, most of the time, we wake up in the morning and then we just go back to what we'd already done, go back to our normal routines, right? And that's what most people do, because that's what most people have done. But because I'm your friend, because I care, and because I'm your coach, I don't want to see you do that. I don't want you to go back to your old habits. I really want to make sure you're successful and start applying. And to do that, you need the support. And that's literally what investing $77 today is going to do for you. So if you have any questions right now that are coming through, I want you to type them in the box so that we can get to them, and I can answer anything that you might be concerned about. Because I also want you to know something about me, that I'm no one special. Like, I literally don't have any superhuman gifts or anything like that. I'm still on my own journey. In fact, there's days that I struggle exactly like you. But I made a choice to commit to growing. And I went on a mission to find out exactly how to do that, even when the times are tough. And so I know what it takes, friends. I know what it takes, and I'm so ready to share that with you and share my soul and be there right beside you, holding your hand on this journey together. And also, I love people who are ready for that as well. It's so much more fun, right? It's so much more fun. So what's holding you back right now from getting started if you haven't already signed up? Because if you have already signed up, by the way, type in let's go. Let's go in the box so I know you're ready and you're in and you're ready to start on Monday, the challenge. And if you have any questions on that, now's your chance. Because I'm guessing that there's two kinds of people who are listening to me right now. And I heard this before, and it's so true. I've been there. Is that you're either a doer or you're a dabbler, right? And the dabblers love to just sit and listen and learn. But rarely do they ever do anything. And often they look for all of the excuses not to move forward. But then there's some of you that are the doers, right? And you're not sure how it's going to work out. You're really not sure how it's going to work for you, but you've seen it work for me. You've seen it work for Diana. You've seen it work for others. And so you have faith that it's going to work for you as well. And what I've found is that it's the doers who get ahead in life, while the dabblers never really seem to progress. And it seriously breaks my heart. But why don't we just get started together? Why don't we be on this journey together? So I'm literally feeling concerned that there's no questions coming in right now. Why? I mean, I could be concerned, or I could spin that and say I'm actually really excited, because if there's no questions, it means that you're already ready to go, right? If you have any questions whatsoever, please type them in. If you can't work out how to get this box thing happening, because I know there's a lot of you listening right now that haven't said anything to me throughout this whole thing. And so that just means that you can also access me. If you want to send me an email or a message or something, if you have personal questions, please do that. Because I'm really ready to help everybody who's listening right now evolve and not revolve. And so I want to know who is ready to go, who's ready to get started. And if you've learnt something today, had an aha moment, then thank you so much for spending your time with me. And most importantly, thank you so much for being on this journey for the last week. Thank you so much for for listening and spending your nights listening to interviews on how they've been able to step through their life. And Cece, what's your confession? I purchased your detox dialogues. I haven't watched it at all. Do you just say, I chose not to watch the Stress No One song. Oh my gosh, thank you for sharing that. And that's so common. And that's seriously what I've spoken about. And I literally have lived that so many times. I buy a program and I never get to it. Or I go and watch a summit and I never apply anything. And you just end up having this idea in your head that you are ready, but you don't, there's just some sort of behavior switch or habit that you need to tweak in order to step through that door. That's all it is. And I honestly believe it doesn't matter if you didn't watch the summit or not. This challenge that I'm going to take you through is it sounds like most importantly, it's what you need, because it's accountability, right? It's like somebody that's going to hold your hand along the way. So that on those times where you're shying away, when you're saying you don't have time, when you're saying like you don't have what it takes, or you have that fear that's creeping up or an excuse that's creeping up, we look at the behavior and we change it so that you can move through the door. So the question that I have for you is, are you ready to evolve or are you ready to revolve? And if you're getting like butterflies of excitement, but also like scared, but also like, oh my God, you don't know what to do, then that's the magic. Like step through that, honor that, and know that there's so much on the other side. Know that there's so much on the other side of that. It's just making that commitment to yourself. It's just deciding to give yourself the self-love and the self-respect that I know you, Cece, deserve. I appreciate you so much too. So thank you for joining me, but like decide right now, like make a commitment. And if it means revolving, then cool. I totally appreciate that. I totally appreciate you spending your time with me right now. And hopefully you had an aha moment. But how many aha moments do you want to have before you actually decide to evolve? Or if you're with me right now and you appreciate my enthusiasm and my genuine desire to help, then let me help you. Let me help you change your life. Let me help you step into the power that I know that you're so capable of. And I really hope that you hear that, because I really mean that. There's like not like the energy and the fuel that I get from literally seeing people like open up and share and step into that is like, I wouldn't change it for the world. Like it's so amazing to be part of that. Come and be part of that. I'm inviting you right now. Come and be part of that. And thank you so much for sharing and being honest and being real, because I bet there's so many people that can totally resonate with that. And you're saying that, yeah, detox is key. Maybe it's key, but I think what's actually key is making a commitment, right? Because we can't detox if we're not willing to do the work. And that's the thing that gets a lot of people these days is like, we want like a quick fix. We want a pill that we can swallow to be able to wake up and feel a different version. We want to have the easy option, when we forget that it's not about hitting the goal or hitting the destination. It's about the journey in which we get there. And so there needs to be more people who are willing to sign up for the journey, willing to sign up to the journey, to know that the work that they put in is the work that they're going to get out, is the results that they're going to get out. And that there's so much more results that you get out of being committed to the journey. Because the thing, like every time that I achieve something and I look back on the process of getting there, I know that I learned so much along the way. But it was never about the thing that I wanted to achieve. Now, if anyone else has any more questions right now, please feel free to pop them in the box. And once you're all ready and set up, ready to go, I want you to type in stressandoverwhelm.com/order in a different browser. And then I want you to sign up and let me know once you've signed up so I can add you to the Facebook group, because there's already a tribe of people there waiting to build your community and be your tribe that you're looking for. And if there's no more questions, I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you all for joining me on this journey. I have so much love and respect, and I'm sending so much love out to all of you right now. And lastly, I'm so excited to start this journey with you on Monday. Let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. And yeah, sending all of my love